In the beginning, there was energy, only energy. It's alive, intelligent, sentient, self-aware, emotive, loving, extremely curious, creative. It is not a being. It's just energy. I think of it as an energy field, or a ball of energy, or just energy. And it is what we, as we've gone through these human lives, come to call God, Yahweh, Allah, the Supreme Being, the Creator, whatever you think of as the being or entity that created us. I merged into this energy, so I know it intimately. Part of the experience of merging into it constituted watching creation of this universe. And I experienced creation from two separate perspectives. I experienced it from my own perspective as, kind of a witness watching it with, I'm sure you can understand, a lot of fascination. I also experienced it as the energy source of the universe. That's why I call it source, because this energy field that existed before our universe did created our universe. And I was inside it enough to experience creation from its perspective. You can see it tears me up. I relived it just a couple of weeks ago when I was working on my third book. And I thought I'd be able to get through this, but it's going to be hard. This energy source existed alone. What I understand of its nature is just a little tiny bit. I'm not sure if that's because it doesn't understand its own nature, or because that's all I got, or that's all I remember. But my impression was that this energy is part of a greater energy source, or a greater species of entities, or it's not the end-all be-all. There is something larger or greater, more powerful than it. But this energy source is definitely what we call God. This energy source was alone, experiencing itself. Like a little baby, it went through its repertoire of behaviors, emotions, sensations, getting to know itself. It learned that it's extremely, and I mean excruciatingly loving. We in these bodies cannot even begin to imagine the intensity of the love this being feels for itself and everything that it creates. It realized that it had explored itself to its fullest. It understood its nature and its capabilities and its powers, its emotions, its thoughts, and came to the point where it wanted to experience what it could imagine. Things that it did not have innately, but could imagine. Things like fear. The source energy has no fear, but it can imagine fear. Pain. It feels no pain because it's not physical matter, but it can imagine pain. Hatred, betrayal, deprivation, condescension, a zillion things it could imagine, but couldn't feel or experience or live because it's not its nature. Its nature is loving and kind and giving and curious and creative and wonderful, joyful. But it can imagine not being that way. And it wanted to experience what that felt like. This being was all-knowing. just like we've been taught, our God is all-knowing. But knowing something and knowing that it exists isn't the same as living it. Just like we can read a book and learn mathematics, but that's not the same as being a number and being part of mathematics. We can read about the stars and the planets, but that's not the same as being on those stars and planets and experiencing them. So what this energy source did was decide to create a universe, what we call a universe, full of imaginings. From its perspective, they're thoughts. Creative thoughts. Imagination, just like we experience imagination. It wanted this universe to reflect itself, but also all the things that it could imagine that were not like itself. It wanted this universe to expand and what I call evolve. And by evolve, I don't mean higher in terms of a hierarchy. I mean evolve in terms of changing. It wanted the universe to move out away from it, to evolve away from it, and then curve back and be absorbed back into it. And what I saw is that all that has happened, and we are now back on the backswing. Our universe is headed back to the source and will dissolve back into the source. I don't remember how close we are to that. It wanted this universe to, like itself, have creative processes within it. So Source did not create planets and stars and beings and cars and pigs and dogs and trees and all those things. Source created the processes that would generate those things creatively in an ever-changing, ever-fascinating creation. So Source created physical matter, but that creation, by that I don't mean I'm here, physical matter's there. It's not creating like we do as a human, where we put things that are outside of us together and voila, we have something new. When Source creates, it manifests. And manifesting is focusing attention and intention on something being. So when the Bible says, let there be, that's really sort of a shorthand way for how Source created the universe. Source focused its attention, its energy, its thoughts, and willed into being this entire universe within its own mind, within its own energy. Now you've got to understand, this source, energy source, is huge. I mean, it's beyond comprehension how big it is. So when I say within its own mind, and we're thinking of our own minds, it's pretty hard to imagine thinking of a whole universe in the little minds that we have as humans. But for Source, it's very easy. So the entire universe, all the energy within the universe, and it is all made of energy, nothing but energy, all exists within this energy field source.